Welcome to Two Across, the podcast where two friends sitting on opposite sides of the planet catch up over a crossword. I'm Theo Bosenket, sitting in London.
And I'm Rob Cole, sitting in Kathmandu. So, good day, Theo.
Hi, Rob. Still in Nepal.
Still in Nepal. I'm going to only be here for one more day. Today we're recording this on a Tuesday, and I'm going to be leaving on Thursday. So I got about 36 hours left.
Well, it's an honour to spend that final day in your company. How's things been since we last spoke?
Yeah, good. I think last time we spoke, I was up at site, and I'll add a disclaimer to that in a moment. And now I'm back in Kathmandu. I've been here for a couple of days, maybe a week. Just to round things out, because the office for this project I'm working at, the corporate office, is in Kathmandu. So on to the site and locations that resemble, let's say, prisons, as was referenced in our former podcast. I do want to issue, I suppose, what would be called an apology if anyone affected was listening, but I did reference Alexei Navalny in a Siberian prison during that episode, and actually should mention to listeners that was actually before the news broke of Navalny's demise, which was obviously very sad news that broke this week. I think we recorded that 4 or 5 days. So prescient, but certainly off color. So anyone who's listening who was offended by that, I do offer my mea maxima culpa. In retrospect, it's obviously a sad news.
Very sad news. Sadly, not wholly surprising news, but yeah, I don't think you should blame yourself too much for that reference, Rob. Yeah.
But I am feeling a little bit of the demise of the liberal order that I think everyone is suffering from, but it feels like there's an accelerator being pushed on it right now. I don't know how you feel about that.
Our defense secretary here, who is not a man I have huge respect for, made a comment a couple of weeks ago which really sent shivers down my spine, which was where he essentially said, we are no longer in a post-war world. We are in a pre-war world.
Yeah.
And that is sadly true. These demagogues are bestriding the earth once more, from Putin to Jinping through to Trump potentially coming back. And it's just this awful feeling of the wheel turning once more. And the world once again forgetting its history. But we just have to hope, obviously, things don't turn out quite as apocalyptically as it could.
Well, it's an interesting year to be podcasting. I was thinking about this the other day because we've started this little experiment just at the beginning or end of 2023. And 2024, there's election super year. There have never been so many elections in democratic societies in 1 year of such import. From the biggest democracy in the world in India to the most powerful democracy in the world in the United States, and many European countries who are increasingly looking isolated from their former shield and protector, that being the United States of America, and who are grappling with how they're going to deal with that and how they're going to remain united and how they're going to maintain, for instance, a nuclear shield, which I was reading about, which was simply terrifying. So, yeah, grim notes to start our podcast on.
Well, as I say, it's probably a hope for the best and plan for the worst type scenario. My dad is staying with us recently, and he is obviously old enough to remember the Cuban Missile Crisis and feelings of real end of the world being imminent. And he was comforting in some ways. He said, these feelings are not new, but he agreed that the situation we're currently in does feel uniquely precarious. And I don't know, it's a fool's game to try and predict how it all plays out. But needless to say, as you mentioned, the many elections we have coming up come loaded with a sense of urgency. I always remember people used to complain about how boring politics had become. And I did say, it's easy to say, I told you so, but I did say at the time, be careful what you wish for, because it may be dull, but at least it's not dangerous. Whereas now, increasingly the mainstream seems to be evaporating, or the consensus, I should say, is evaporating, and we're kind of lurching increasingly to the extremes once more. I saw a very chilling film quite recently, which is called The Zone of Interest. It's about the commandant of Auschwitz, and it's set entirely in his, or almost entirely, I should say, in his house, which was just next to the camp wall. So it just shows, again, this idea of the banality of evil and the way that this guy was effectively treating this job as a career move. The fact that a genocide was taking place merely meters away from where his children were frolicking in the garden just didn't seem to perturb him or his family. And a few years ago, that may have felt like a film highlighting history, whereas today it feels a film issuing a very urgent warning. But let's try and lighten up because we've gone very heavy today. I think some crossword therapy to get us away from talk of genocide and apocalypse would probably be welcome. So let's move swiftly on. We're going to do Guardian quick crossword number 16,783. Do play along if you feel so inclined, or just listen to us, no doubt, spectacularly screw it up.
Yes, our depressing introduction to this certainly does put our recent failures of crossword solving in maybe its right place. Maybe there are more pressing issues that other people in the world are facing.
Indeed, but we are 4-2 down. No, 5-3 down.
5-3 down.
5-3 down.
We can't even get back to level pegging today. All we can do is undig the hole. We have to start digging up.
Yeah, we do. We do have to start digging up. I was about to say like Lemmings. Do you remember the 90s computer game?
Yep.
So let's channel the spirit of the Lemmings and dive in. I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. Off we go. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Let's start in the predictable place of one across, which is 4 letters for herb. Now...
Well done for saying the H.
No, I do not say herb. Herb is one of the strangest things in the world because I think people think it sounds sophisticated. It's a very odd thing. They think it sounds sort of French or something. Do you have the herb?
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, whatever.
It's a very odd one. That's always struck me as a very strange.
Yeah, no. There's some history to herb and why, and maybe I just don't understand it. Maybe it's actually the original pronunciation, and we have all erred.
Well, but have we any idea what this? I mean, it could be sage, I suppose.
I thought sage too, because it's 4 letters. Flow regulator is 1 down, and if it's sage and that's 8 letters, I believe that could be spigot, but that would have to be 2 G's and 2 T's, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah.
Well, what about 8 across?
I think it could be the case.
Well, I think 8 across might disprove it, because 8 across is a 4-letter word for a sty noise. Do British pigs say the same thing as North American pigs?
Oink?
Yeah, I would imagine that's a sty noise, right? I mean, do we know of any others? Let's pen it.
I'm struggling. No, it's got to be oink. Let's go oink.
All right. Let's
Which
heavy
means
pen that one.
Flow regulator can't be.
Oh, here you go.
Spigot.
I think it is sage, though, because I believe 2 down is French policeman. That's 8 letters, and the 3rd letter is
yes.
an N. Theo, would you like to do the big reveal for the audience? Et gendarme. Right, so there we go. We do not call policemen gendarmes or do we? In Montreal, I don't think so. We call them les policiers. I don't think we call them les gendarmes. No. So that means our herb, 4 letters, it has a G as its 3rd letter. So sage is certainly still in the running. And then our flow regulator would be S space O and then 5 letters. I mean, it could be electrical current or water or other. Pardon me. I just finished a large veg kana set before I came here, so I apologize if there's any reflux to listeners.
Just blame Zeus, the dog, who
yes,
is,
exactly,
as always, lying loyally at my side, snoring away. It's quite useful having a dog in the house, actually, for excuses of that nature.
Yes.
Just,
Yeah, who let one rip? Clearly the dog.
Obviously.
So why don't we look at some of the acrosses that would give us letters on our flow regulator? You want to grab one that tickles your fancy?
So 11 across is a loquacious type. 10 letters, third letter A. A loquacious type.
I was looking to see if our blabbermouth would fit in there, but unfortunately we're not going to get that freebie today. It's too long.
No.
Well,
let's move on to 14 across. Fair, 6 letters, third letter M.
And that's F-A-I-R or F-A-R-E?
F-A-I-R, yeah. So it could be fair as in even-handed, or could be fair as in fate. But
yeah, like a carnival.
Fair. The fact it's 6 letters.
Let's keep moving. Let's go for the low-hanging fruit, and we can fill in. We seem to have more success when we do that. We've got a city in Pakistan of 4 down, which is 6 letters long. I know of 2 cities, maybe 3 cities in Pakistan that I could name, and I think only one of them has 6 letters.
Go on.
Lahore?
Oh, yeah.
Because Karachi and Islamabad are too long, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of any other Pakistan. Apologies to our listeners in Pakistan who are saying, like, how dare you forget insert city name here. We apologize.
Well,
this is going to be another one of our apologetic episodes.
Yes. We've already started on an apologetic note, so we may as well continue.
So could we try 3 across? Oh, it's an anagram for climate. 8 letters. Climates. And its second letter is L.
And it hasn't given us a clue this time either. Let's go 5 down. Gibberish. 5, 5. I would say gobbledygook.
That's what I was thinking. What about 9 across?
Keep moving.
9 across is bubbly. The second letter is an H, and it is 8 letters long. So obviously there's effervescent or ebullient. But what about a bubbly type? Someone who is a bubbly person.
Cheerful?
Ooh, I think that works. Does it fit? Okay, that's helpful here, Theo, because now 6 down and 7 down are 4-letter words, and we have the third letter in both of them. So which one do you want to shoot at first?
Oh, I think this one may be gettable. 7 down, which is cummerbund, for example. 4 letters, third letter L.
A belt?
Could it be a belt? Yeah.
That puts a B as our last letter of... No, it can't be.
Oh, it can't be. It can't be.
Because climates doesn't have a B in it. Oh, well, that's just as well, because we've avoided a... I
was getting smug there. Sorry. Oh, God.
Cummerbund, for example. Oh,
so, cummerbund is obviously the thing you wear at
a wedding.
With a dinner jacket.
Yeah, with your tux. All right, well, let's come back to it. 6 down is dainty, space, F, space. That can mean so many things.
I know. Sort of small, delicate.
Soft?
Soft. Yeah.
Because it's space, F, space, and S is one of the letters in climates.
Yeah. It's worth a pen, I think.
Let's try and conquer. This may just be a really problematic area. Why don't we try and conquer... Shoot us somewhere completely different, Theo, and then maybe we'll work our way up to this challenging area.
We could start in the very bottom right, which is 23 across. The clue is grey, 4 letters.
Grey.
Could
be aged. Well, what's 12 down? Because if it's an ing word, that would work. So gorgeous and eye-catching. How about striking? 8 letters.
Yeah. Good guess.
And then that confirms our G. And then we could put in aged. And then 21 across space I space space insulation material as shiny silicate.
It's actually insulation mineral
Oh, mineral. Sorry.
as shiny silicate. Insulation mineral.
God. The only thing I can think of is asbestos.
Look, if we lose today, I think we're going to have to go back to Collins. This
I
is
think so, eh? What about our
clearly
knockout fixture? Our knockout fixture is three letters, three letters. The first letter of the second word is a T. So it's space, 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 and then T space, space, space. Knockout fixture.
I'm also looking at 17 across, which is another multi-worder,
Yeah.
which is 235, about to break down, which feels very apt
Space,
for my
space,
current state of mind.
then three spaces, and then five spaces, and the middle letter of the five spaces would be an I. About to break down.
So I want to say something like on the brink.
That sounds great. And it recalls our introductory conversation.
Well, it does. Is the world teetering on the brink?
Oh, dear.
And then 13 down is onboard scrubber. 8 letters.
Oh, I
But
got
it's
it.
an onboard scrubber question mark.
A deckhand.
Oh, look at this. Bottom right, absolutely coming together.
Well, oh, Mica for our, it's MICA for
Mica.
21 across, yeah.
Yes. Some hope. Some hope.
Some small hope. Yeah, sometimes you just got to change your area.
Oh, knockout fixture is something Thai, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. Space, space, T, space, E. Could be toe as well, but I don't know how that works. Can we take another crack at 5 down?
Yeah.
Gibberish. Now the second word, it's 5 letters, 5 letters. The second word has the second last letter of B. So space, space, E, space, space, and then 4 letters, B space.
Oh, come on. It's gonna be one of those that as soon as we see it, we're gonna wonder how we didn't get it. But
let's keep moving. Because we're going to run out of time at some point. Opposition is 6 letters, space H, and then space, space, and then 4 spaces. So H being the second letter. Opposition.
I'm also looking at 10 down, which is World War II battle, 10 letters, with a 6th letter of N. So
World War II battle. Well, El Alamein, obviously the Battle of Britain, the Battle of the Bulge, Guadalcanal.
It's a long old word for a battle.
Could be a naval battle.
So many options.
Oh, man.
I think we need another letter.
Let's look at the bottom left and see if we can get a few letters here. Maybe if we break this section open, it'll help us work up.
Time-wise, we're coming up to halfway.
Oh, dear. We have 18 down for a large waiter. It's 4 letters. It could be a duck because 22 across is 4 letters, and it's take it easy. And if I'm not mistaken, that could be, if it starts with a K, kick back.
Kick back. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
What do you
Good
think?
work.
I think now we just have to throw things in.
I totally agree.
The time for perfection is over.
Any guesses for 20 across, which is sit on and across? 8 letters, first letter U, assuming that is duck. Sit on.
What? Sit on and across? I don't even know what that means.
19 down. Teenage Miscreants Award in apostrophes, which is, or I should say inverted commas, which is 4 letters ending in C. Teenage Miscreants Award. So it's going to be, what is it, sort of grounded, but something shorter than that.
Yeah, or it could be a suspension, or it could be, I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Some kind of acronym.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is, by the way, our World War II battle would now have a last letter B, 10 letters long, 6 letter N, last letter B. World War II battle.
Thinking Eastern Front now, like Stalingrad or.
Yeah. Well, Stalingrad would fit, but and then kickback would be wrong. But kickback gives us 2 letters that end in C, which is problematic. Stalingrad would be good.
And it does fit with on the brink.
Well, Theo, then fair would be space M space L space for fair.
Something Lee.
Possibly, yes.
Oh, comely.
Comely. Wow. Do you say comely in English?
I don't know, actually.
Like a comely wench? Okay.
Yeah. Do you know? I think I was just saying it literally. It should be comely. Oh, the comely maiden. Yeah. So fair. I mean again. Let's just chuck it in.
Okay.
But we do need
While we're
something else
chucking
for...
in, I'm throwing sage in. I think it's good enough. And then our flow regulator is space O or S space O, 3 letters, C, 1 letter. For flow regulator. Shortcut.
Oh, stopcock.
Wow. There's a word I wouldn't have gotten.
That is such an English word.
Is that the British equivalent of cock blocking?
Do you know what? It couldn't be less sexual if it tried. Do you know what it is?
No, I don't
Do you know
think
what a
so.
stopcock is? It's a thing
No.
that goes in the toilet. It's the floating plastic ball. No, it's not. Hang on. No, it's the thing you turn all the water in a house on and off. That's the stopcock.
Oh, okay. That's a stopcock.
I think the floating plastic ball is some other kind of cock. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a ball cock. Could be a ball. It could genuinely be a ball cock
or a shuttlecock. We will reference. We
indeed.
will provide information to listeners in the next episode on what a stopcock is. So I think our loquacious type C space A space T space R, 3 letters, I believe is a chatterbox.
Yes, Rob.
So now, see, we got some. It was your Stalingrad. That was very good because it's really busted open some stuff for us. So let's look at. Oh, take it easy with an exclamation mark is now 4 letters. We have no letters, and then D, 3 letters. So 4.
Is it back down? Take it easy.
It could be.
That's a total guess. Doesn't really fit, but I mean it fits in literal terms, but I'm not sure it fits in clue terms.
No. Well, opposition would then be space H, 3 spaces, and a W. Okay, let's come back to it. As chatterbox, it's helped us a little bit for this gibberish is space E space O, and then 5 letters with the second last letter being a B. Gibberish.
Oh, it's going to be one of those awful sort of Boris Johnsonisms, isn't it? Like tittle tattle or flim flam. He's always saying stuff like that.
He sounds like an old governess.
He basically is. Actually, no, that's an insult to an old governess. At least an old governess has, some grasp of their job.
So I'm getting this awful sinking feeling on this one because there's just so much we're not getting.
Let's have a crack at this anagram again because we've still got over 9 minutes. So let's not panic.
So it's climates. The L and the S are spoken for. And then it's space L, space, S, space.
It's where I wish I had a notepad. So it could start with an S. Although if the S...
No, it can't because the S is spoken for if soft is right.
I'm not entirely sure about soft though.
Okay. And that's dainty.
Yeah. Anyway, what could it start with? If not, it could start with a.
It could start with an S. It could start with an E, an A, an I, and a C. So basically everything except the M and the T.
And this cummerbund is really. How can that not be belt?
It's just not.
Oh.
A knockout fixture. I mean, a knockout, knockout, I mean, you call the knockout stages of a tournament is when teams are potentially eliminated, right?
Yeah.
So a fixture would be a fixture is a match, no?
So, a something tie. I mean, it has to be
I've
tie.
never heard. I suppose so. Yeah.
A red tie? I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't think I'm going to get that one.
No.
The sit on and across, 4 letters, and then R space, space, space. I have no idea. I'm sure we'll get that. I mean, it's probably when we see it, we'll say, oh, yes, that's sit on and across, obviously. I think your something down makes sense for take it easy because it's space, 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 and then D, and then 3 spaces, 4, 4. But
I mean, I'm only saying back because I can't think of anything.
calm down.
Calm down. That's
But
nice.
then our large waiter ends in a C. A crock. But a crock doesn't wade.
I mean, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yes, but I mean, a
Grasping at
crock is
straws.
short. Yeah, I think
That's a crock.
maybe. Yeah. Then a teenage miscreants award would end in L if that's the case. I don't know.
This sit on and across is a really strange thing because to sit on. So I've just no idea what that could mean. I think opposition is gettable. It obviously could be the opposition, or it could be you're putting up opposition to something. So if you're putting up opposition to something, you are disputing.
Opposition.
Ending in W.
Potentially.
Potentially. And this gibberish is really... I know that that's going to cause me visceral pain.
I don't think it's going to cause me any pain because I really don't think I know what that is. Space, space, E, space, O. Second word, space, 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 B, space. Gibberish. I really don't know what that is, so I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I am losing sleep over the anagram because I tend to
You're
be
good
able to
on
get
those.
these.
You are good on those.
Yeah.
No pressure.
That's what I bring to the partnership, Theo, generally.
Oh,
and I'm
Rob.
letting down.
You bring far more than anagrams.
Thank you. That's very heartening.
Anytime. Large wader. I'm thinking like wading birds now, but they're all long. Flamingo, herons, and
A crane.
yeah.
It doesn't fit. They're all
It
too
doesn't
long.
fit.
I mean, a duck doesn't actually wade anyway. That was a bad. I mean, a duck floats. It does not wade.
And the duck is not especially large. So
No, it's not especially large.
what wades?
Well, you'd think if it was like a wading bird. I mean, a large wading bird. There are only so many of those in the world. You'd think that we would know very quickly.
I don't care, Rob. I'm penning in croc because we haven't got anything else, and time is beginning to run down now. We've got 3 minutes and 37 seconds until our most ignominious failure yet.
This is pretty bad. This is about as bad.
Even by our risible standards.
Yeah, I think we're going to throw this one in the dustbin and maybe re-record immediately.
Yeah. Did I say number 16,783. No, what I meant was 16,782.
I'm going to do it after this just for fun, and I bet you it's going to be really easy.
Yeah.
Sit on and across would now be R space space R space space. I just don't know. No. Our Teenage Miscreants Award. I mean,
you have a teenager.
Yeah, the problem is my teenagers is not a miscreant. It's my preteen who's a miscreant. My teenager is very
a paragon.
A paragon.
Right. I think our only hope is to try and get this anagram and see if we can sort of fill in some things from there. But
our only hope of avoiding utter failure.
Yeah.
I don't know that our self-respect is really worth the effort at this point. I mean, I think we could also just use this time to riff.
Oh, I might have it. Is it? No, I haven't. No, I'm not even close to getting it. That's absolutely... Ignore me.
Oh, I was excited. I must say I was very excited. And that's okay. Yeah, no, I'm going to say that I really have zero clue what this is.
Well, we've got 1 minute 25 to...
What about a clematis? The flower.
Yeah.
Isn't it CLEMATIS?
It is. Which would mean cummerbund, for example, could be silk. I don't know.
Sure. And then our dainty is T space F space. Tuft.
Yeah, solid. I don't know.
And then our gibberish is M space E space O, and then 5 letters. Second last letter is a B. I don't even know what that is. Milo. Yeah. Sorry, don't know. I'm happy about clematis, though. If my mother's listening, she would be very happy.
Mumbo jumbo. Mumbo jumbo.
Oh my gosh. But then cheerful's wrong.
It is a Boris Johnsonium.
It totally is. Oh no, Theo, that was so good. A knockout fixture, space U space, and then T space. So I think tuft is probably wrong. Cheerful, well, we don't know. But it's...
We're done, Rob.
Yeah. You know what? There was a little bit of excitement. Mumbo Jumbo was excellent. I was saying before that clematis, possibly the world's most sexual sounding flower,
yes,
also I was very pleased about that.
Up there with stopcock.
So... Stopcock. Every episode, there's one of those, like, roll mops that I literally have never heard of in my life. Yeah. So this is what you bring to the partnership. All the Anglicisms that I just have never heard of. So just before we solve, bubbly is now space H space M space L. Oh, it's not silk. It's champagne.
Bubbly. Champagne, obviously. Although, no, that doesn't fit.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
Damn it. Okay, I thought that. Okay, give us the answers, Theo. Now I'm going overtime for no good purpose other than to...
Oh, very Guardian, this. Bubbly is champers, not champagne. Champers.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry.
Cummerbund, for example, is a sash, which I think we would have got if we'd had champers.
We would have had that.
Dainty is twee.
Twee.
That's a bit.
Does twee is twee 2 E's?
Yes, it is 2 E's, yeah. But I suppose yeah.
What's our knockout fixture?
I'm going to say a bum tie. I don't know. It's a cup tie, Rob. You literally said that, I think. You said, like, if you're in the FA Cup or something, didn't you? No.
Yeah, but cup tie, that means nothing to me.
Cup tie.
I just think these crosswords are a little too British for me because there's just things I never heard of a cup tie.
Yeah, what's my excuse?
Well, now,
Okay.
that's the big question that we're going to have to discuss after the big reveal.
Okay.
What are you bringing to the partnership, Theo?
I'm really struggling here, Rob, in the way that I was struggling for these clues today. Opposition, 6 letters.
Well, you got you got Stalingrad and Stopcock. I don't know. I think my only claim to fame is Clematis today, and that's just because I have a dirty mind.
I think this, for me, invalidates the whole crossword, because opposition, 6 letters, is shadow, which I think is such a circuitous clue, because it just, maybe if we had all of the other letters, we may have guessed at shadow, but even knowing what the answer is, I'm struggling to see the connection.
I don't love it. No, I've got to admit.
No. And then sit on and across. Well, this will be interesting. Sit on a bestride.
Bestride. Wow. Okay, so obviously our croc was wrong.
Which means...
Oh, an ibis for our waiter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have heard of an...
It's got to be, because it's space B, space...
Ibis. Yeah. But I don't know that I would have got that. And then...
It's a chain of inexpensive French hotels.
Indeed. That would have been a better clue. Yeah. Oh, an ASBO. Is it?
That's our Teenage Miscreants Award, ASBO.
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
It stands for Antisocial Behaviour Order, I think. But it's not unique to teenagers. I think that's a rather snobby clue on behalf of The Guardian. But anyway, that's...
The Guardian aren't snobby. They're a people's newspaper, Theo. They appeal to the masses, don't they?
The Manchester Guardian.
Are you suggesting that The Guardian appeal to a small elite?
I would never suggest such a thing.
For shame. For shame.
Oh, God love The Guardian. So,
take it easy. Space, S space, O space, and probably down. Slow down. It's got to be.
Slow down. Yeah.
You move too fast. Got to make that feeling last. Or that crossword last, which we did today. We let it last till the very end and leave much undone. That was just a big yawning, empty grid that we left today.
Hopelessness.
An abyss of ibis.
Ah, very nice.
Or ibis. Or God knows, whatever.
Well.
No, I don't think I've ever heard anyone use that word. I think I've only read it. I've only ever read about ibises or ibises. I've never heard someone. I've never had a casual conversation with a friend where someone brought it up.
My daughter's friend is a walking encyclopedia of animal types. So, should have had him on hand, but alas, he's at school. So, no use.
A shame. Otherwise, we could have invited him as a guest on our podcast.
Could have been our first guest. But anyway, look, we started with talk of apocalypse. We failed the crossword again. Can we pull this around? Can we win our cup tie with some closing, uplifting, humorous insights?
I'm racking my brains and I can't hear. You know what? I can share you a humorous anecdote if that would help.
I'd love that, Rob. Please do.
Okay, so for viewers or listeners who are not viewers, rather I should say, you would not notice the fact that I am, for the first time in a very long time, very clean shaven. So I generally tend to wear a beard, as a man wears facial hair, even though it's something that grows on him. We do wear it. So I tend to wear a beard. And the beard was getting a bit out of control, and I couldn't bring an electric razor to deal with my hair issues. I'm also lacking hair on the top of my head, so I tend to just get the clippers out and do a quick shearing every few weeks, and that does the job. Not having my tools, everything was getting rather out of hand. So on Sunday morning, I thought, okay, I've got to go and get a haircut. So I looked on Google Maps, and I found the closest barber to this hotel, and I went to the barber. It was a little out of the way barber shop on a side street just south of the main street here in Kathmandu near my hotel. And I went to the barber and I explained what I wanted, and we sort of managed to communicate more or less what we were trying to do. His word for remove everything was clean. And so the face was clean, but the hair on the sides, which I like to keep a little bit of my follicles showing, just as proof positive that I have some, I said not clean. And so we managed to get that across because I really didn't want to be a cue ball. I've never experienced nor wanted to take that look on. So I was sitting there, and he immediately, most people would sort of take the clippers and remove the surplus hair, and then they would get the blade out and kind of shave you down to the rest. He went straight to blade. So he put an enormous amount of lather on my face, which took a long time to do. He lathered up this beard, which was, a good 3 or 4 weeks of growth. And my beard tends to grow pretty quickly. So there's a lot of beard. And he did all that with a razor. And while he was doing that, I sort of looked behind me, and the older barber, so I had the younger barber who I think was the apprentice, and the older barber was just going to town on the person whose hair he just cut. So the guy in front of me, or behind me, but who was before me in line, got his hair cut. He was having it cut when I walked in. He finished his haircut, trimmed the sideburns the way the Nepali like them, a little pointy. And then the barber proceeded to just start wailing on him. So he kind of leaned him forward. He put a pillow on the sink and sort of put his head into it. And then he just started slapping his back really hard. And it was loud. And it's this very performative thing. So he would sort of work on the spine, and then he would stop working on the spine. And then he would just sort of whack his shoulder, and then he'd take his other hand and whack him, and he kind of cup his hand so you get like maximum whack noise out of it. I thought, wow, okay, this guy's paying for like the bonus package. That's cool. Like maybe next time I should do the same thing. So I finished my haircut. I finished my shave, and then we managed to negotiate that he wasn't going to cue ball my head, and he got out scissors actually and very meticulously cut my hair, sort of short. So I have the kind of Captain Picard haircut right now, short sides, no beard look. That's what I was going for. I wanted to rock my Patrick Stewart. And then my thing ends. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then he's like, okay. And he sort of like pushes me forward and gets this pillow out. I'm like, oh my gosh, something's about to happen here. And sure enough, he just started going to work on me. And so he first a couple of hearty slaps to the back. This is a very manly, vigorous massage. It's the way I imagine men, in like bathhouses,
sure.
Like Italian mobsters, would sort of meet in the steam, and have a conversation, and then you get thrown down on the bench, and some big burly guy would work you over, not in any touchy, light, suggestive way that would make you question your sexuality, but a very vigorous, manly way. So I received this very vigorous and manly beating, and just completely like I was a piece of meat being tenderized. And I kind of it lasted forever. It lasted about 25 minutes. It was incredible. It just never stopped. Wow. And it just kept going and going. And then the thing finally ends. And I say, okay, well, how much do I owe you? And he said, well, that's 500 rupee, which, trying to do my math, but is somewhere in the area of about $4 or about £3 for this long haircut and treatment. I mean, this was like 50 minutes of work. Yeah. And, he did some work on me. So anyway, needless to say, I left significantly more than that because I felt that I had received more than that in an equivalent of local treatment if I had such treatment in Canada. So that was that. And then I kind of stumbled out of this thing into the Sunday morning Nepali Kathmandu traffic, somewhat dazed, much more skin showing than I had previously, and with a spine that felt thoroughly adjusted. So if ever listeners come to Kathmandu, I would suggest going for a haircut experience. It's definitely unique.
That sounds incredible. I once went for a Turkish haircut where they singe your ear hair with a flame, and that was quite exciting.
Yes.
But a full pummeling, I mean, that takes it up a whole nother notch. I'm quite envious, actually. I, like you, these days cut my own hair because it's a shrinking island and I keep it short. So why pay whatever, 20 quid a time to keep it that way? So I do my own. But if I did get such an experience, I'd be tempted. Maybe not every time. I'm not sure I'd want my back pummeled every 2 or 3 weeks. But as a sort of annual indulgence, why not? Or maybe this barber, maybe you weren't experiencing a kind of typical Nepalese haircut. Maybe this barber was just feeling particularly frustrated that day and taking those frustrations out on his customers. You know, you could have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It's possible. And you know what? I also thought I might have just walked into the one parlor in all of Kathmandu that does it. And people come from all over the city, in fact, all over the country, knowing that this is the place you get this treatment. Whereas the other places, they barely give you a little head rub and, you know, send you off packing. And this place is known.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I did mean to say that your fresh-faced look is very good. I'm enjoying it, Rob. I think it suits you. I think your Patrick Stewart phase is going well and will hopefully be similarly profitable for you. So well done for taking that plunge. On which note, shall we sign off for the week?
Yeah, thanks for listeners for bearing with us during our 3 weeks of misery. Hopefully we're going to rebound from this. Oh, we've only successfully solved one Guardian crossword, so bear with us. We'll get this done at some point. It's going to be magnificent. We'll avoid relegation, maybe. I think victory is no longer a possibility, but if we can keep ourselves, you know, in the bottom third of the league table.
Yeah, we've gone from being Man City to Everton, but that's all right. That's all right. I think we can, you know.
My son is a huge Everton fan.
Oh, poor boy.
Well, he takes on difficult burdens in life, but it builds character.
It does indeed. He's in for a roller coaster few months, I think, needless to say.
He is.
Because, they could well be staring down the barrel of a relegation, as are we. So join us next time to see if we can finally prove ourselves in the crosswording arena, or whether we will just have to accept our fate as nearly men, not even nearly men, just far away men.
Just people, Theo. Maybe people. We can just be people.
Maybe that's fine. And maybe that's enough. You know, going back to our original conversation about apocalypse and doomy thoughts, maybe we just cling on to the day-to-day existence we enjoy and make the most of that. Smell every flower and admire every ibis.
Yes. And in the end, treasure your personhood, people. It's the only thing you have.
Indeed. That was To Across, a Rob Cole and Theo Bosanquet production. Music by Enthusiasts, Crosswords by The Guardian, and Failure by our collective lack of intelligence. We'll see you next time.